All right, everyone. Good afternoon. It is Wednesday, April 9th, and we are back with episode 8 of Draft Night. That's me, Ron Hearn, here with Brandon Cooley. Let's just get right into it. It's a big day here in Dallas. It's a weird day, and we have a lot to talk about because of that. So we'll get into that shortly. We'll talk about, obviously, Luka coming back to Dallas, get into Mavs, everything we're expecting tonight. And then we'll jump into it is officially Happy Masters Eve. So that biggest tournament I think in golf kicks off tomorrow. I'm really excited about it. I think this is so much fun. So I'm going to be watching a ton of it. And I don't know, I'm just giddy. So those are our two, those are the two big things happening in sports right now. This is grabbing all the headlines, especially here in Dallas. So we're going to hit those two things. We'll lightly touch on a little bit of baseball, a little bit of stars, and then get into what we're going to hit next week. So let's just start with beer. What do you got, Brandon?
Because it's our hottest day of the year so far, I thought I'd go with something a little bit crisper and lighter. So we're going with Revolver's 817 Blonde. This Revolver is amazing. I've never had the ability to go out to the brewery in Granbury, but that's definitely on the list of things to do. I just don't get to Granbury very often. But this is such a good beer. So let's crack it. And it's so good. Oh, it's so good. It's very light. It's lemony. It's citrusy. It's crisp. This is just a good beer to drink when it's hot outside. I was between this and a coconut porter by plutonium, but we'll get to that maybe on a cooler day because that I also had a pretty heavy lunch, so drinking a porter didn't sound very pleasant. What do you get?
So, great minds think alike because I went with my first true warm weather beer that I brought onto the show. So, I don't even know how to pronounce that name. I don't know if it's Rar, whatever it is in Sons. They're Big Fort Worth Brewery. Okay. Big Fort Worth Brewery. They make a ton of great beer. This is probably my favorite thing that they do. So, this is called Paleta de Mango. So, basically, it's a Mexican style lager and they pump it full of mango flavoring and a little bit of chile, so it's got some spice. This is actually the number one beer I drink on the golf course or when I'm at the golf range. And yeah, it's perfect, man. It's like, it's on the lighter side, being a Mexican lager, but at the same time, you're not giving up any flavor because you get all the fruit, you get the spice kick in there, and yeah, it's just perfect for the warmer days and great pool beer, great beach beer. Have you had it?
I have not had that beer, but I've had
Okay.
plenty of raw and stuff, but I've never had that particular one.
Okay. Highly, highly, highly recommend. So yeah, it's warming up quickly. I also was thinking about, well, there is a coconut porter that just came out at Celestial that I want to go pick up. I might go pick it up today. Man, dude, is there anything better than a coconut porter? Like that, it's like the greatest.
Porters are just so good, but there's a fine line though between like a good porter and a great porter. And so I think my favorite porter, I mentioned this last week, is the Lakewood Temptress. That is
Hmm.
far and away my favorite porter. But there's a lot of really good options out there. There's a pecan porter that I've had. Ridge makes a vanilla porter that's really good.
Yes.
So there's just so many. Oh my God, there was one. I was at Blackhawk and I did a porter flight. This was like 4 or 5 weeks ago, and they had a cherry cola porter, and it was incredible. It tasted just like cherry coke, and it was amazing. So there was definitely a seasonal one. They don't have it anymore, I don't believe. But next time it's out, you've got to come up here and try it because it was so good.
Okay. I agree. There is a fine line, but that being said, there's a lot of good ones out there. So you mentioned Breckenridge Vanilla Porter.
Mhm.
I guess didn't have that one on the show, but that is a favorite of mine. Deschutes. They're actually one of the OGs of creating really popular porters, and so they have one that's really really good. I know Three Nations has a couple. The last one I tried, I don't remember. So it was a blueberry pancake porter or stout. I don't know which one it was. It was like super limited time, and man, it was so freaking good. Like it was one of the best things I've ever had in my entire life. And they had it for like a week, and then it went away. So pretty sad about that. Speaking of that, for all of our, and I know we have a lot of them. For all of our Twilight fans, I got a message a few minutes ago saying that there is Twilight trivia happening at Three Nations Brewery, I think next Wednesday or next Thursday. So be sure to get out there for that. I'm not a huge Twilight fan, but I might still be out there. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. I think we hit everything on the beer side.
I think so.
Oh boy. Okay. Then let's get into the biggest thing going on in Dallas. So Luka returns. So tip off, I believe it's 6:30. So early tip. Mavs versus Lakers would be a big game. The Lakers games are always big, right? There's so many Lakers fans everywhere. These are always the most expensive ones to get tickets to every single year. Most Mavs fans like me have a deep hatred for the Lakers, but yeah, obviously things have changed. So Luka's first time back in Dallas since the trade, our first game facing him at home. Man, I don't even know, where do you want to start?
Well, I think the first question that I have is not even on the court; it's in the stands. How are the
Yeah.
fans going to react? How many Luka jerseys that aren't Mavericks and blue are we going to see? I'm curious how many gold and purple Luka jerseys will be in the stand. How rowdy is everybody going to get? Are people going to be rooting for Luka when he makes a shot, or I think that what's going to be the biggest story of the game is how the fans react to everything going on. What about you?
Yeah, I think that's one of my top questions is what are we expecting in the building? So the Mavs put out a couple of posts today, basically Luka appreciation posts, and judging by the way that fans responded to those, it's not going to be a great reaction for the Mavs tonight.
No.
So they've already started to piss people off. And I think that's just going to build and build as we get closer to game time. I saw the other thing that they're doing is they're giving away thank you shirts. So those will be on every seat tonight in the arena, and it's thank you in Slovenian. And so they're these white shirts, so the lettering's in black. A bunch of people already pissed off about that. I wouldn't expect many people to put those on. And so, dude, I think we're going to see a
No.
ton of Lakers gear. There's going to be a lot of purple. There's going to be a lot of gold. There's going to be a lot of, I think we'll see a lot of blue Luka jerseys. I do think we'll see that, but I don't think we'll see a whole lot of things outside of Luka in terms of fan gear. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
man. Speaking of the shirts, I mean, while I think it's a good gesture, the fact that the smear campaign was so pervasive before or right after his departure. And then even yesterday, someone somewhere in the Mavericks organization, I don't know who initially posted it, but they went on to say that Luka was like distancing, isolating himself during his rehab stints when he was injured. He was completely keeping himself away from the team, the coaches, the staff, the front office, everything. And so it's like,
Mhm.
well, what good once again does it do to put that out there? Is that just to hopefully make the fans think, oh, maybe he really is the big asshole that we're making him out to be, and we shouldn't root for him tonight or whenever he comes to play on here at home. I don't know, but it's
Yeah.
just the fact that they're continuing to smear him just blows my mind.
Yeah, and so Luca addressed that. So just in terms of everything he addressed it in totality. So everything that was said about him, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he basically said, this wasn't an accident that I ended up here as one of the best players in the world. And he called it sad, talking about the rumors and what the Mavs organization said about him in terms of his lack of work ethic. So he also addressed, coming back to Dallas, he said it was going to be very emotional for him being back here, being back in the arena, being back in front of the fans, which, I think it's spot on. I do think it's going to be extremely emotional on both sides for him, for the fans, for the fan base in general. Man, it's just so weird. We just never seen anything like this, right? Like you've never seen somebody that wanted to be here and the fans wanted them here, and then they weren't traded. Or well, he was traded, but like he wasn't traded because he was old or for like lack of performance or anything. It's just so freaking weird. He didn't leave in free agency like LeBron. So that's what makes tonight so interesting is that it really is unique. It's singular in NBA history in terms of we really have never seen anything like this. So, it is, man, I am wondering like what do you think's gonna happen, right? Like things have calmed down a little bit in the arena, over the last month. But, like I've been saying, it hasn't really been the true fans that have been there. I do think they will be back tonight, and there's going to be a lot of angst. There's going to be a lot of pissed off people. I don't know. But what do you think? Do you think there's going to be a ton of Fire Nico chants, people thrown out? Like, are you thinking this is going to be a big event in terms of like fan disrespect, fan angst, fan anger?
I think because tonight will be so emotionally charged and there's so many lifelong fans that will be in the building supporting Luca, I think that the stance of the AAC should be and only should be as long as nobody's getting violent and they're not being vulgar, let them say what they want. Like, just let's let tonight ride, give them basically a hall pass for today, and just let the fans be fans. And then hopefully Luca comes in, and we talked about this, right after the trade happened, that, Luca's anger is going to come out tonight and he's going to put up a monstrous performance. And I think, yeah, just let's let tonight play out and move.
Yeah, I think I agree with you 100% in terms of how they should how the fans should be policed essentially, right? So agree with you 100%. And that's kind of in line with what I think fans are expecting going into the game. Like I said, I've been wearing my Fire Nico shirt every single game. I haven't had any issues since the first time. So there doesn't seem to be any, and I've seen video and we've seen this on social media in terms of people starting up Fire Nico chants. There was some issues that popped up last game because of a fan's proximity to the tunnel or something. I don't know. There's a bunch of drama. But the thing is like I think it's going to be so prevalent tonight that there's no use in policing it, right? There's no way you can kick out every fan that's going to be,
No.
emotional or part of chants or whatever it is. What's interesting though, so a couple things. When they introduce Luca, do you think it's going to be the typical opposing team introduction?
I'd like to think that it won't be, but I feel like based on what everything this organization has done up to this point, I can't imagine they're going to give him any special anything. I mean, I think they'll probably play some sort of video at halftime, a highlight reel or a thank you to some degree, but I don't think they're going to give him any special attention. I hope they do, but I don't think they will.
I agree. So my hope is that he gets his old introduction, right? So I have seen they confirmed he will be introduced last for the opposing team, but you've been to the games. You know how they introduce people. It's like,
Quietly.
they go through it super fast and quietly, right? So LeBron
Mhm.
James, Austin Reeves, like that. Like they just roll through it. They don't give you any time to do anything. I would like to see his old introduction. So do what you got to do with the rest of them. Don't care, but then give them something special and let the fans, because I think the fans are going to cheer either way. They're going to be ready for the moment, right? So everybody's going to be there. They're going to be watching. They're going to be there for the intros, and they're going to introduce him, and he's going to get cheers. So the only question is, how much room do you give him? And lately, the Mavs have not given anybody any room, just because they've been audio super loud, not showing fans, not giving any chance for Fire Nico chance, and just all of that stuff in general. So I agree with you. I don't think, they'll introduce him last, but I don't think they'll do anything beyond that. They'll do the tribute video that's already been confirmed. So my other question is, I mean, do you think it's loud, the whole arena cheering for him every time he makes a shot?
I do, and Luca's going to be in the building. I believe Ron's going to be in the building, right? So, are you going to be at the game?
I do not have tickets, but I am trying to acquire tickets. So
Okay.
yes,
Well, no
I
matter
think so.
what happens, I'm going to make sure whether you're there. My in-laws will be at the game, and so I am going to put in a special request for them that they record the introduction to Luca, because I want to have that footage because I want to see that secondhand, I guess, because I think it's going to be really loud because the PA guy, while he's, paid by the Mavericks organization, there's a chance he goes pretty hard on the Luca introduction just himself. But I think yes, to answer your question, if he hits a three, I think the crowd's going to go crazy. If he gets a big and one, I think the crowd's going to go crazy. But that brings up a whole other question. How do you think that this now last few games struggling Mavs defense is going to play against Luca in the paint? Are they going to body him? Are they going to let him drive free? Are they going to give him open looks? What's going to be the game plan for Luka tonight, and how are the players going to react to him on the court?
Yeah, it's a great question. And if we look at this from a basketball standpoint, the Mavericks have been struggling. They got destroyed by the Clippers in back-to-back games in LA this weekend.
Ugly, ugly, ugly.
Destroyed. So, game one, maybe it's forgivable because AD didn't play, but then he
Sure.
did play in the second one and lost even worse. So,
Yeah.
it's
What,
like what
34
the hell's
points?
going on?
Awful.
Yeah, so it's not going well for the Mavs right now. Spencer Dinwiddie went 1 for 11 in the last game. Their lack of guard play is really, really starting to show through. It's obvious Lively's not 100%, Gafford's not 100%, AD's not 100%. They're a mess on the basketball court. So they're going to have their hands full. The Lakers have been pretty good. They kicked OKC's ass, and then they lost yesterday. Yeah, they lost last night because Luka got ejected, but the game was tied at that point. So, Lakers kind of looking like they're part of the conversation in terms of cream of the crop. So, yeah, I mean, in terms of how they're going to play him, I mean, I could see it a bunch of different ways. They don't really have much to throw at him in terms of like guard and wing guys.
No.
So, I don't know, man. I saw it. People were saying, well, he's going to try and hunt on the switch, right? And then so he can cook them and send a message. I think he might not even have to hunt him, right? I could see Jason Kidd just saying, okay, we're just going to start with AD on Luka just because we have no answers, right? So we'll see how it goes, and then if we need to switch it up, we can switch it up. So I don't think he's going to come in here and drop 40 or 50 points. I think we see the same thing that we saw last game where he takes what the defense is going to give him. I think Jason Kidd is going to double and triple team him. He doesn't want Luka to embarrass them on their home court. So I just don't think the Mavericks are going to care. If Austin Reeves scores 40, they're cool with it. If LeBron scores 40, they're cool with it. They just don't want it to be Luka. So that's what I'm expecting. Double and triple teams, they're not going to let him go off.
So you said something interesting. You said you don't think Kid's going to let him embarrass them on home court.
Yeah.
I might actually disagree with that and think that maybe Jason Kidd, because of the fact that he was told in the 11th hour, the way that Luca completely snubbed him last time they played, maybe Jason Kidd wants to make, some sort of presence known and a statement to the organization and just let Luca run wild just to drive the point home that this was a horrible, horrible idea. But then to talk about something else you mentioned was Lively, Gafford, AD, all still not at 100%. Those are in the paint, defend the rim guys. We already have low to bad defensive guard play. If our bigs can't produce defensive boards or any sort of blocking in the paint, what defense? What's a triple team going to do? Because Luca's already shown time and time again, if he's double teamed, even in the corner, he can still whip a pass around. If you got Reeves open on the other side, or you got LeBron open, or anybody open, I mean, he's going to make them look silly. So you're right. He may not have 40 points, but he might have 25 assists.
Agreed. Exactly right. That's exactly what I'm expecting. I think he'll play the board, he'll orchestrate everything, and the Lakers need to win. Well, both teams need to win, right? The Lakers are trying to secure the third seed. I think they need two wins to do that. And the Mavericks are trying to, host a play-in game. And they need to start winning if they're going to do that, right? So they're probably in the play-in no matter what, but they'd much rather host that play-in game than go on the road to Sacramento. So there's a lot on the line for both teams. That's what makes this even more interesting. There's actual stakes at play. It's not just Luka's return. Obviously, that's the big story, but there's actually, there's actual stakes at play here. And to go back to the Jason Kidd thing, I don't know, man. We saw Mike Malone get fired with 3 games to go.
What the hell
So
was that about?
So I think coaches might be a little bit on edge right now. I don't think they're going to go off script if they want to keep their jobs. So yeah, that's insane, right? Because I don't know about you, but I think Mike Malone's an excellent coach.
He won a championship in the last couple of years. He's got the fourth seed in the Western Conference. He's got the best player possibly in the league in Jokic, and eh, they look like they have every ability to get another championship this year. So, what did he do behind closed doors or in his personal life that led to this abrupt of a departure? Because there's got to be something. There's got to be something he did, said, or had done in the past that's been uncovered that the team decided we have to part ways and get ahead of this. That's the only thing that makes sense.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, there's a ton more to the story because yes, he won a championship. They've won a ton of games, had a ton of success, and this isn't like Malone's only been successful with Jokic. That's not the case. He's been successful at other stops. He had Sacramento hunting or humming before he went over to Denver, so he's just a damn good coach. The only rumors I've seen is that the front office wanted him to play the younger players more, and he was sticking to, giving Westbrook a ton of minutes. But the weird part is if that's what the front office wanted, then why did the front office get fired too? Because their GM got let go as well. So that makes it even weirder. And then the weirdest part is this comes 2 weeks after the Memphis Grizzlies fired their coach. I think his name's Corey Jenkins, something Jenkins. So that's two Western Conference contenders that fired their head coaches less than a month before their teams were going into the playoffs. I don't remember anything like that happening ever in any sport.
Might as well.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, well, and I don't know. When you've got a good coaches, like really, really top tier coaches are so hard to find in any sport. And so when you've got one that has proved himself to be a good coach, like you said, with more than one organization, what's really at play? Because I'd be curious to know. And whatever it is, they're clearly keeping close to the vest.
Yeah. And the other weird part is it's almost like they're attributing their lack of, being able to win another one on the coach, but that's just not the case, right? Like Denver's ownership has been cheap as hell, has been the main problem. They haven't been willing to spend any money post championship. They lost a ton of critical players in free agency, and they've had to replace them with people like Westbrook that just, are way past their prime, aren't very good on defense anymore, have, real weaknesses on offense. And so I'm like, you have to look in the mirror as ownership and say, well, I just haven't spent the money sometimes. But this is like a Dumont situation where it's like, no, let me find something to blame within the organization, try and fix it that way. So I don't know. I don't agree with it. Maybe more will come out. I'm sure more will come out and we'll get a better idea, for the reasons why, but it's just weird. How are you enjoying the game tonight? Do anything special or just, hey, I'm gonna grab a beer, hop on the
No,
couch and
I'll watch it at
watch it that
home.
way?
Yeah, I'll watch it at home. I think I mentioned before, my wife's not a big sports person at all, but there's certain games that she'll definitely watch or at least sit in the room with me for. And I very rarely, if it's not Cowboys, I very rarely say, "Hey, we have to watch this," but this is one that we're gonna have on cover to cover and watch it.
Yeah.
It'll be shortly after dinner's done with the kids. So yeah, I'll probably just be in the media room, have a couple of beers, and watch the game. What are your well? If you don't go to the game, what are your plans?
Yeah, I think at this point I'm committed. So I'll be in the arena. And so, yeah, I mean, it's weird because my last game as a season ticket holder is Friday. So I'll be at two Mavs games this week. But, the realization hit me earlier that this is two things. So one, this may be the last Mavs game I ever attend where I kind of care about something. And then two, this is probably also the first Mavs game I've ever attended where I will actively be rooting for the other team because I'm fully in Luka's court. I will cheer every time he scores, all the threes, all the twos, all the badass assists. I will be cheering. I'll cheer when he's introduced. If the Fire Nico chants fire up, I will join the Fire Nico chants. So this is going to be a really interesting night. I will try and take as much video as I can. If I can go live or whatever, I'll try to do that too. I don't know what jersey to wear. I kind of don't feel right wearing my Fire Nico shirt with Luka in the building, so I don't know if I should wear that or I have like a non-Mavs Luka jersey I might wear, or I might just wear my Luka Mavs jersey. I don't know. I don't know. That's what I'm trying to decide. But ultimately, this might be the last Mavs game that ever matters to me. So, that's what really weighed heavily in my decision to shell out the money and show up. This might be it. So, I think after all that's happened, this 20 some year run, all the games I've been in the building for, being in the building for Dirk's last game, being in the building for his retirement or his jersey retirement, I think I have to be there. So, man, I don't know. It's gonna be weird. I might get emotional. I don't know. I had no idea. I had no idea what to expect. Anything could happen tonight, and that's the most mind-blowing part.
And you brought up you might get emotional. I was going to ask, is that I mean, I don't know your temperament when it comes to things like that. Is that something you think you might
Yeah,
well up with tears watching him, play, or is
dude, I don't think so. And that I'm saying that as somebody that cried like a baby at Dirk's last game. Literally I was sobbing. I had to like I had to like take a minute and like actually get like a hold of myself. So, and I'm usually not an emotional person, but that got me. It's a bit different in this situation in the sense that it's not a celebration. It's not a, I don't know. There's the joy isn't there. So I don't think I will, but there might be. I think it depends a lot on his reaction, to be honest with you. If I see him start to get emotional, then I'll probably start to get emotional. So it
that's
depends
fair?
on how he receives the crowd. Does he acknowledge the crowd? How does that work? I don't know, right? That's where I could see it being, oh shit, now I'm sad because Luca's sad. So,
I would be shocked
dude,
if he ignores the crowd to any degree. I think he'll play up to however the crowd is treating him, and like we said before, I really think that the crowd's going to be on his side for any time he's on the court, and I think there's going to be Luka chants. I think that will prevail over any sort of Fire Nico chants, but I think
I
you're
can
going
see
to hear
that.
a lot of Luka chants.
So the other thing is it's going to be a who's who of Dallas media, athletes, famous
Oh, for
people.
sure.
It's going to be loaded. And so, if I've been monitoring social media all day, and there's a lot of affluent, influential Dallas people that some of the guys that used to be on the ticket. So I think it's like Jake Kemp and a couple of other guys, they went off and made their own show called The Dumb Zone, and they were talking about getting together some chants for tonight's game because they're all going to be in the building. So yeah, the Fire Nico stuff could be. I could see it getting more vulgar than that with a different F word. I do think there would be some Luca chants. I saw somebody say we're going to start some loyalty chants. That would be hilarious. By the way, have you seen anything? I haven't. I don't think. I doubt Dirk's going to be in the building, but I haven't seen that addressed.
I wouldn't put that outside the possibility. He went to Luka's first LA game,
Yeah,
so if he's in town, I don't know why he'd miss it.
it kind of seems like he's. I legitimately think there's a big rift between Dirk and the Mavs right now. So I think
I
if he's not there, that'll be the reason why.
No,
He
I
he doesn't
agree
want he
completely.
doesn't want him to show up, and he doesn't want that to be seen as him lending credence to the Mavs organization. I think that's the reason why he might stay away, right? Because it's going to look weird. So let's say when Dirk shows up to Mavs games, he's in two places. You bet you've seen this, right? He's in his suite,
Mhm.
or usually lately he's been courtside, right down from where Dumont sits whenever he's in town. So I just think there's too much weirdness there, right? I think no matter what he does, it's going to send some kind of message, or people are going to interpret it a certain way. So I don't think he's going to be there. I think he's going to stay away.
There's no way that what I'm about to say would happen, but how crazy would it be if you see Dirk walk in a Lakers Luka jersey? How crazy would everybody go? The news outlets, the fans, I mean, it'd be insane.
Oh man, the other thing that would be pretty cool. Well, no, I just don't think. I don't think his family would come to this game. But if he did a
Luka?
similar gesture, yeah, if he did a similar gesture where Dirk comes in and sits with Luca's family, I think that would also be pretty cool. Would send a message also. The other question, I'm sure Nico's going to be hiding in the tunnel like he usually is. I wonder if Dumont's going to be there. I doubt it.
I mean, he should be. I mean, if you're
I
the owner of a
well,
team, you should be at every game. First of all, I mean that's my opinion. I know that if I own a team, I'd be at every single everything.
yeah, yeah. I mean. Honestly, I do think it's kind of dumb if he shows up and sits in his usual seat because he'll be marked immediately by Luca. So I don't think he wants to go through that. And we haven't seen him for a while, not since he got booed that day when he showed up with the Dallas mayor. So we haven't seen him since.
Well,
So
but
I
one
don't
other
know.
thing to keep in mind is we need to make sure that people like Nico and Dumont aren't anywhere near the court because Luka just got ejected last night for talking shit to a fan, which of course Tony Brothers thought that it was pointed at a referee versus a fan, which whatever. So Luka got teed up and ejected, and I don't want to see that tonight. I would be heartbroken if Luca's emotions get the better of him, which unfortunately that's probably his biggest Achilles heel. And he says
Yeah,
or does something that gets him kicked out of the game. That would be a problem. I think if something like that happened, that's when you might have a volatile crowd situation.
agreed. Yes, yes, 100%. That's why I'm kind of glad what happened last night happened last night. So now that that's so fresh in Luca's mind, I think it'll be top of mind for him going into tonight. I don't think he'll want to get ejected, especially because they need the game. So
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
LeBron, that's when it's good to have LeBron in your ear, right? And he's like, "Hey, keep your eye on the prize. Like we're trying to secure a third seed. Like there's more at stake here." My last point on the Mavs. So, story came out today by Tim McMahon that the Mavs are bracing to lose hundreds of millions of dollars over the next few years because all the season ticket holders left and nobody's buying the merch. And I'm like, well, what the hell did you expect? Dumbasses. But, anyways, so after I gave up my season tickets, I have gotten several emails recently. The last one was hilarious. They were like, "Are you our records show that you opted out of the playoffs. Are you sure this is accurate? Get back to us if it's not." Which I just laughed, and we ignored it. And then we got the news yesterday or the day before that we're getting free play-in tickets. All Maverick season ticket holders are getting free play-in tickets. Even the ones that are done, opted out, said they didn't want playoff tickets, aren't renewing. Everybody gets a playoff ticket if we get the home play-in game. So that just reeks of desperation, right? We basically told you we want no part of your damn tickets, and they're giving them away. Like that's how much they're literally scared that if they have a home playing game, nobody will show up. How pathetic! This is how bad things are for the Mavericks right now.
That's pretty tough. Um, but it's a good look that they are stepping up and offering that because they're trying to garner some semblance of, hey, look, we know we screwed up. Here's a peace offering. Let me extend the olive branch to some degree. Here you go, fans. Now, is that going to be received as, hey, thank you, organization, we're coming back to your side? Or is that going to be seen as completely disingenuous as just here's a Hail Mary throw from the front office to hopefully try to maybe garner some more fans? I think it's a good play. I just don't know if it's going to work out the way that they want it to.
I would say it most definitely will not. It comes across to me. I think it will come across to fans in general as phony, as what basically how they behaved this whole time. They've just yeah, after everything they did to Luka and after the way they treated the fans, kicked people out, raised the season ticket prices, and now that nobody wants your tickets, now you want to extend the olive branch?
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here, man. Like nobody wants to hear it. It is far, far, far too late. So,
But all of that
anyways,
to encapsulate Lakers win by 30 tonight. It's gonna be a
I hope you're
blowout.
right.
It's gonna be a blowout early.
I hope you're right.
So let's talk about something a little more fun. Let's talk about the Masters. Okay, we
Right.
have the biggest, most celebrated golf event of all time starting this weekend, and it is, or this week, excuse me, and I'm so excited. So we've got a lot to get into. So why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, so I mean the Masters is my favorite tournament in golf. So for a number of reasons, right? Just all of the history, all of the big moments. The course itself is beautiful. It happens at an awesome time of year, and
Hey, Ron, I've lost you entirely. Hang on, hang on. Hello.
yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you got real choppy, and then your audio was just.
Weird.
That's okay. Leave it in. I like it. I actually
Okay.
I learned something the other day. Maybe you were at that table in Master Networks. Jonathan, I forget his last name, from Leafy Link. He does social media and videos and stuff, and he made the comment that having stuff like that. Oh, my echo's back.
You like blipped in and out for a second.
Okay. But his opinion is that having things like that where you're showing the human side of a podcast, a video, a commercial, whatever, it shows the genuine nature that sometimes things go wrong, and that's okay. And people apparently like that better. So leave that in.
Okay. So that is our that's another one of our weekly slash technology screw ups. Seems to be a weekly segment for us. Back to the Masters. So favorite tournament of the year. So much fun. All the history. It really kicks off for me golf season in earnest. This is when I really start watching. So I wanted to start by talking about, for some reason, this interests me a lot, is the Masters dinner. Have you seen the menu for this?
I have not. Enlighten me, please.
So let me bring it up here. So Scotty Scheffler, he won last year, and so the winner gets to pick the menu. And I'm always fascinated by this, and it always looks incredible. But this is, man, Scotty really knocked it out of the park for us true Texans. He represented us well. So let me bring this up. Okay, so appetizers. So we got cheeseburger sliders. Um, a classic. I mean, that's always good.
Mhm.
It says served Scotty style, whatever the hell that means. We got firecracker shrimp, sure. And then we got meatball and ravioli bites, which sounds delicious to me. So that's the appetizers. I think we're off to a pretty good start there.
Mhm.
The first course, so it's Texas style chili with cheddar cheese, jalapenos, and corn chips.
Time
I'm
out.
in, man.
Question. This is an important question that we need to address right now when it comes to Texas chili. Does Texas chili have beans or does it
Oh,
not have
I know
beans?
what's coming.
There's only one answer here, and we've never really talked about food before, Ron. So think very carefully about how you answer this. Does Texas chili have beans or no?
I believe the technical answer is that it does not. Here's what I'll say though.
No, no, the rest is irrelevant.
I make it both ways.
Oh no, that's okay. Carry on. You make it both
Dude,
ways.
yes, and I love it both ways. So I make the true Texas style, right, which is creating the chili sauce from scratch, chunks of beef, and that's really it, right? There's really nothing else in there. And I love that part. And I also make a different one with beans. That one's more ground beef, bunch of different chilies, bunch of different tomatoes. I love both, man. And actually, I just made the one with beans this past weekend because it was cold. And and I understand, man. I understand the debate that goes on. I believe technically the technical answer is that it should not have beans. So let's move to the main course. So
Yes,
you can choose between a wood-fired cowboy ribeye or blackened redfish.
I think
Yeah,
I
I love both
know.
of those.
I do too, but if I'm at the Masters and I'm picking anything on that menu, we're having a ribeye.
I think I agree with you because it's in Georgia.
Hmm.
So, but I love both. I actually just had redfish this past weekend. I don't know if you've been to Nate's in Addison. It is fantastic. So they do Cajun style seafood, and yeah, it was just out of this world. So for dessert, we get the warm chocolate chip skillet cookie. I don't think you can go wrong with that.
No, never. That just makes me think of Pizookies from BJ's. Mm.
Yes,
Pizookies
good point.
are from
Not
heaven.
surprised. Well, kind of the only thing I like there, but yes, I agree. Um, okay, so that's the menu. So let's get into the golf. So headlines, a lot of the guys that you want to be playing well right now are playing well.
Mhm.
So Scheffler's playing well, McIlroy's playing well. A lot of the other top guys, Spieth, Morikawa. So it's everything's lining up for it to be a great tournament. And now we are going to get into our Masters draft. So Brandon and I are going head to head. We're selecting a team of five golfers, and we're going to decide a winner by whichever's team has the most strokes under par combined. So here's the rules. So we're going to select five golfers and we are just going to alternate, so snake draft style. But there's a couple of caveats. So one of them being five golfers has to be a foreign golfer. So it doesn't matter if it's European, Asian, Australian, whatever. One of your golfers has to be a current live golf player. You have to have two golfers outside that are currently ranked outside of the top 20 in the world. And those are the rules.
Ready.
So with that being said, I'm gonna give you, since I'm so gracious, the first pick.
Oh my goodness.
So with the first pick in the 2025 Masters Draft, Brandon Cooley selects.
Brandon Cooley selects John Rahm.
Oh, now okay. So that you have a couple of options here. All right, is he gonna satisfy your live requirement or your foreign requirement?
There was no rule that it couldn't satisfy all.
That's actually true.
So that is why I select John Rahm because he's live, he is foreign, and he's defending champ.
Okay. Well, I wasn't expecting that. I have to admit. So if you are going to, I mean, if you're going to give me the number one player in the world, the favorite to win the tournament, the man who won the tournament last year, and Highland Park's own Scotty Scheffler, well, then I'm not going to say no, right? I'm not going to say no to a gift. So with my first pick in the 2025 Masters Draft, Ron selects Scotty Scheffler.
Good choice. Solid
All right,
choice.
who are you taking number two?
Who am I taking number two? I gotta take Rory. It's his time. He's got to win. It's I think if if there's gonna be a year, it's got to be this year. He's been chasing this tournament for so long. He's due.
Yeah,
Rory McIlroy. Are you taking these notes? Because I'm not.
I'm taking the notes,
Okay.
yes. So interesting choice. I mean, Rory's consensus top three player in the world has been for a long time. He actually just won another tournament a couple tournaments ago, but has not been able to get it done in a major for a long, long time. So, I mean, great pickup. We'll see how he does. So, okay, so let's see what I want to do. Rory was a great candidate to take my foreign spot. So, with him off the board, I'm going to take somebody that actually rewarded me with the number two pick in my fantasy draft a couple years back. So, one of the best up and coming foreign players in the world. One of my favorite players to watch. Just had so much fun playing. I wish I had as much fun on the golf course as this guy. So, with my number two pick in the 2025 Masters draft, I am taking my guy, Victor Hovland.
Good pick. That's a good pick.
All right. Who you got next? So, just to reframe what you have. Dude, I don't know if my thing doesn't like Excel or what's going on.
Did that happen last time you opened up Excel too?
I don't know. That's the only difference in like today. And like I have Excel open so I can take down these notes.
All right. So before that all broke up, you said to reframe, and then you went crazy.
Yeah, so to reframe, you have John Rahm and Rory, so you have checked off the European player requirement and the live player requirement. So the only requirements that are still left for you are you need two players ranked outside the top 20.
I need two or one?
Correct. Two.
Two. Okay. Ooh, shit. All right. Let's go. All right. Let's see. This is one of those things that you just don't really know who the sleepers are going to be. I think I got to go Minwoo Lee just because he's been so fiery when he plays and when and he's aggressive. And so I think if he's got a shot to be that dark horse, I definitely think that that's an opportunity there.
Okay, I love that pick. He was a big part of the latest season of Full Swing. He's a character on the course. He's a character on social media. Absolutely love him. Okay, so my number three is easy. So to recap, I have Scotty Scheffler and I have Victor Hovland. So I still need a live player and I need two outside of the top 20. So I am taking my live player, one of my absolute favorite golfers ever. Um, it's Bryson DeChambeau. He's got a great history of playing really, really well in majors. And I mean, here he's really changed his game. I think he's, stepped it up a notch. He's back to, while he's not driving, like he was back in 2020 and 2021, I think he has more of a complete game. So adding him to the list here, and other reason why I like him is he always gets to be a part of a featured group. So I'm gonna get to watch him a lot on TV. So that makes it even better.
Yeah, I like Bryson. Is he outside the top 20? No, that was your live player. That was your live player.
It's 19.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that was your live player. I'm sorry. So now your number four pick. No, I like Bryson a lot. And you're right. And I actually watched something that he said just recently, maybe yesterday. Someone asked him how he deals with all the criticism because the interviewer said, this isn't meant for you, but in general, major golfers don't do well with fan and outside criticism. And I really liked his answer because he used to be kind of a dick. Like he was not a nice guy. He had that holier than thou mentality, and he was just kind of always an asshole to everybody. And so I'm really glad that he's changed his opinion of how he needs to be and the way that he presents himself and the way that he acts. Like his social media presence is amazing. His fan interactions are amazing. And so I like watching him play because also dude can nuke the ball. So good pick.
Right. So the only requirement you have left to fulfill is you need one more player outside the top 20.
Well, big draft. Aren't you on number four right now?
We have an actual snake draft with two people. If you want to give me the pick, I'll gladly take the
Yeah,
pick.
take a pick. Because I know what my last pick is, and I don't think you're going to take it.
Okay, so number four. So I need one more player also outside of the top 20. Let's see. I think I know where I want to go. I'm just trying to confirm. Yes, he is outside the top 20. Okay, so I'm going with somebody that I absolutely love. And so a year ago, no, 2 years ago, he got me, he also got me the number two pick in my fantasy draft. And so he's another up and coming player, kind of in that Victor Hovland echelon. So he's a ton of fun. So I'm going with from South Korea, my guy Tom Kim.
I like that pick. I like that pick. All right, so I need one more and outside the top 20.
Yes.
This guy finished ninth last year in the Masters. Uh, he's had a pretty good year this year, just continuing to be the player he is. And that is Sahith Theegala. We're going that route. I think he's a ton of fun to watch. I think he'll have a top five finish this year. I don't think he's going to win, but I think he'll be the top five, and I think he gives me my best outside the top 20 chance to uh, win this thing.
Oh yeah, he's just outside the top 20.
He's 21.
Love the pick. So I'm a big fan of him also. He also had a big role on the season of Full Swing. And yes, he is actually, I mean, he's had some incredible majors runs. So I don't think he's won a major, but he's been right there, a really young player, full of potential. So we're really a perfect guy to have opposite Tom Kidd. Okay, so you get pick number five, right?
Yep, that was pick number five.
Did I miss one?
I have, oh, or did I get four? I have John Rahm, Rory McIlroy. Oh, Minwoo Lee. Okay, I do need a fifth pick. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Still need one more. You know what? This is probably going to be a. I'm between two right now. I'm between two players. I'm between a guy who has won a Masters, that is really, really good at Augusta, and another guy that's, I think, better golfer, but probably not as good at Augusta. And so I'm going to go with the local born and bred Jordan Spieth. It was either him or Justin Thomas, but I got to go with Spieth.
Spieth has played really, really well this season.
Hmm.
Best I've seen him play in years. So always good to see a DFW product playing that well. It would make a lot of sense for me now to take Justin Thomas. Um, and normally I would because he's actually playing really, really well too. But man, I'm gonna take somebody that's a little bit further down the list. He was featured on Full Swing also for all the stuff that he does with Rory. He's a fiery SOB on the course, but a super super nice guy off the course, and I just find myself rooting for him every time. I'm going with Shane Lowry. So, obviously big time European player, big time presence at the Ryder Cup, and just somebody that I just find it really really easy to root for. So he's gonna round out my five. So all right. So those are our teams. So to recap, Brandon has John Rahm, Rory, Minwoo Lee, Sahith Theegala, and Jordan Spieth. Scoring off against my team, that's Scotty Scheffler, Victor Hovland, DeChambeau, Tom Kim, and Shane Lowry. Um, I think that's pretty evenly matched.
Yeah, did we tell the audience what's on the line here? I don't think we did. So the big winner of this is going to treat the other one to a round of golf at their course of choosing.
Course of choosing meaning, oh, actually, done, done, done.
No,
I
no, hang
got
on.
a
What was your qualifying question?
no qualifying question, man. I actually win or lose, I am treating you to the Dallas Cowboys golf course in early August. I believe it's August 2nd, uh, sometime
Okay.
around there. So this is a done deal.
Okay, so first of all, what you're thinking is August 1st, and you aren't
Oh,
treating me to
got
a
it.
damn thing. You are donating your time and money to a greater charity cause, and you and I won't be on the same team. So we won't even be playing together. So I appreciate the attempt there, but that ain't gonna fly.
Fair. So okay, so done. We'll figure that out. But yes, that's what's on the line. We will post this out on social media in terms of what the teams are. Let everyone know, and then we'll post some updates over the next few days as the Masters gets rolling, and we'll see who's leading who at the end of each day here. So it should be a ton of fun. Oh, wait, I'll have it on basically all the time, at least in the
Yeah,
background.
same. You know what? Actually, I want to take this time while we're talking about golf, and you just mentioned it, but August 1st is going to be the first annual Master Networks Texas North Region charity golf tournament. It's going to be at Cowboys Golf Club in Grapevine. If you've ever played at Cowboys, it's a great course. They do tournaments like nobody else. It normally costs anywhere from $220 to $230 to play. We are providing a full round of golf, lunch, dinner, and of course, all the snacks come on the course for a mere $175. So we still need golfers. We need as many teams as we can. So anybody who's listening to this, if you want to golf, please message me directly and I will get you the information. We are also still looking for sponsors, and there are various levels of sponsors. Currently, it's just open to the members of our network. But in the next few weeks, we're going to open that up to the public. So if you have any want or any love for golf, or if you just want to come out and hang out, we've got opportunity there. So I can get all that information out as well. But I want everybody to know all about that.
This is gonna be a fun one to edit. Um,
Did you bring Excel back up?
no, I actually switched out and went back to the run sheet, but who knows? We'll.
It seems to
The good part
happen
about
really.
this, it should be easier to edit out.
Yeah, and it seems to me, at least from the last two times, it's been after I've talked for a longer period of time and then you jump back in. That seems a bit, so I'll be shorter winded. Also, speaking of golf, you got out on the course recently, right? I think I saw you do some golfing earlier this week or late last week. Where'd you play? How'd you
Yeah, I
shoot?
played. So I was at Oak Hollow, McKinney. I had never been out there. It was. Not the best day. So this was Sunday. It was about 45 degrees and drizzling. Yeah, it was nasty. I played better than I've been playing lately. Still, I have no idea what I shot. I stopped tracking, but I started to find my rhythm in the back nine. Hopefully I can carry that into my next golf outing. And so, but it was a tough week, right? So the weather was bad last week. I couldn't get to the range. There was a lot of rain. So not ideal, but still a fun time out on the course. Have you played lately?
I played yesterday.
Okay.
I played at Cowboys. So we had our committee meeting out there for this event that I just talked about. And Cowboys, it was gracious enough to give four of us a free round on them. And so me and three other guys on the committee got out and shot. We did a two-man scramble against each other, and one team whooped the other's ass. Let's put it that way. And my team was not the winner. It was ugly. It was ugly. My partner had to take a business call that took an hour and a half. So, needless to say, his head and swing was not fully invested in the back nine. We were only, I think, 3 or 4 strokes off of them to start, but it got out of hand fast. They beat us by 18 strokes, 69 to 87. They whooped our
Well,
ass. You know what? That's okay. You know what? I'm competitive. I talk a lot of shit, but I can also be a gracious loser. And one of the guys on that team, they were a good 1-2 punch. So Austin could nuke the ball. I mean, he was driving at 315, 320. Yeah. Yeah, he flew the green on a 320-yard hole. Yeah. And then his wedge game was incredible. So he'd stick it within 5 to 10. And then Daryl did not miss putts. If it was within 10 feet, he was draining them. So they were a fantastic team.
that seems about 10 levels above where I'm at. So I don't think I would have probably lost just as badly as you did. Well, I honestly probably worse.
Yeah, no, it was ugly. I actually was hitting the ball pretty well. I had the yips the first couple holes, though. I could not hit a tee shot to save my life, but on hole four, we got back. So, but yeah, I'm really hoping that I can get out a lot more. I really haven't had the ability to golf much this fall and up till now, but I'm really hoping starting like now the weather's wonderful. I'm really hoping to get out and golf. Actually, we'll be going to Blue Jack National on Memorial Day to spend a weekend there to golf, and I'm looking so forward to that because that course is amazing. I'll take some video and then we'll get it posted on the page.
That sounds incredible. So same on my end. I'm looking to get out and golf, you know, as much as is reasonable. So I am headed to Puerto Vallarta in Mexico a week before Memorial Day for somebody's 40th birthday celebration, and me and some of the guys are playing 18 down there. And so I am very excited about that. I've been warned there are crocodiles on the golf course in the water features, so that should be interesting and not something I've come across before, but you can't make me play any worse. So there's that. Yeah, lots of fun to be had in the golf world over the next couple months until the hell of summer comes upon us. We need to hit other sports briefly. So
Yeah.
Rangers and Stars grinding for the playoffs. Rangers still doing what they need to do. What are the big themes you've seen?
Rangers bats have cooled off a lot. We've had a couple losses recently, and they've been pretty sizable run differential. So the
Yeah,
pitching has not been as well as the first 10 games. So they've had a little bit of a cool down on bats, and also the pitching has decreased. I don't think I'm concerned, but I think the biggest lack of offense production, and you've got Simeon, Garcia, and Seager, who have all really cooled off. And when you have the heart of your lineup, those guys that are your big sluggers not doing well, the rest of the team kind of struggles. Jonah Heim has looked pretty good recently at the bat, which is good. We need him to. I do think he'll have the best season he's ever had this year. That's the notables on the Rangers. On the Stars, we still have a chance for home ice. We had two losses this week that were not necessarily expected, especially to the Canucks. The game last night, they were up. What was it? They were up 3-3, 6-3. 5-3. I don't know. 5-3. It's 5-3. And then all of a sudden, or 5-2. God, I can't remember. anyways, bottom line is the Canucks scored 3 goals in the last minute of regulation to force overtime, and we ended up losing 6-5. So that was frustrating. But the Jets did lose one game earlier this week or in the last 7 days, which definitely helped. So there's still a chance that we could win head to head and points and still get home ice, but that is looking far and far less likely as we get to the close of the season. So no matter what, we got a playoff spot, but there's still a chance, a very small chance, that we can get home ice advantage. And that's the Stars wrap for today.
So we are heading into a game tomorrow against the Jets. How important is that game?
We have to win this game if we want any chance of home ice. If we lose that game, then that is over unless magically they just lose out. One other thing on the Stars, Sagan has been on the ice at the Comerica Center getting some practice, so we should see him back on the team sometime within the playoff stretch. My only concern about Sagan coming back is we don't know how he's going to play with Miko because they haven't shared ice together in the regular season. So I imagine they'll be able to be just fine, but that could be a story to watch on how they play together.
Okay. I don't have a whole lot to add. I will want to get into both a little bit more next week. Obviously there's a ton going on, but Mavs and Stars, we're getting up on the playoffs, right? So I think that actually might start next weekend, after next weekend. We're almost
It's
there.
soon, yeah.
Yeah. And then on the baseball side, we actually have the Angels surprising the hell out of everyone, and I think lead the division right now. So we need to see if that's legit. So we'll find out and talk about that next week. And then we are getting closer and closer to the NFL draft. So we started talking about that last week. We want to talk about that some more. Been hearing a lot of really interesting things. The Cowboys are having their official 30 visits. So I want to dig into that list because it's really interesting on the running back and wide receiver side. And then I'm interested in actually doing something for actual draft night. So we'll see what that looks like. I have some ideas. Yeah, and whatever else. I don't know. We'll get in, we'll recap the Masters, we'll recap the Luka game. It's gonna be a big episode next week for sure.
It is. And I won't, this isn't for a sporting thing, but I will be at Cowboy Stadium on Monday night. AC/DC's in town. So I will be at the AC/DC concert. So I don't know how they still perform in their old geriatric age, but I saw the Eagles in Vegas and they were phenomenal. So I have relatively high hopes for this concert. So, and how do you go wrong with AC/DC?
True, true. Okay, that sounds like a ton of fun, honestly. And I'm sure that'll be a late night for you. That's you're a brave man kicking off the week like that, but to see AC/DC, I'd say it's worth it. So that's one of the ones you
Yeah.
sacrifice for.
Indeed,
Okay,
indeed. Well, that's all I've got. I'm really looking forward to what's going to play
me
out over
too.
the next week and being able to have a content-rich episode next week. You got anything else?
Nope, we are T minus 3 hours to tip off for Luka playing against the Mavs in Dallas for the first time. So I'll be posting updates and we will continue to post updates throughout the weekend on the head-to-head matchup for the Masters. And that's it. We'll get into a bunch of stuff next week.
Wonderful. Well, this has been a fun episode. For Ron Hearn, I'm Brandon Cooley, and as always, the next round's on us.